2,100 adults handed over their grocery lists and took cognitive tests, and the results were ugly. The people eating more ultra-processed food were slower. Their attention slipped, their mental processing dragged. And here's the twist that should make you sit up. It didn't matter if the rest of their diet looked clean. You could be eating the salads, you could be hitting the salmon, the berries, the leafy greens your mom keeps texting you about, and if you're also reaching for the protein bars, the flavored yogurts, the healthy frozen meals, the diet sodas, the packaged snacks with 12 ingredients you can't pronounce, your brain might still be paying a tax you didn't know you signed up for. That's what a new study out of Science Daily's Mind and Brain Desk is saying. More than 1,200 adults. A clear pattern. The more ultra-processed food in the diet, the worse the attention scores, the slower the mental processing, and quietly, in the background, an increase in the risk factors tied to dementia. Read that last part again. Dementia risk factors. From food that's sitting in your pantry right now with a green leaf on the label. So what's actually going on inside your head? Why would your brain care whether a calorie came from a whole almond or from an almond-flavored protein puff? They're both food. They both fuel you. Your body breaks them down. Your stomach doesn't issue a moral judgment, but your brain apparently keeps score. And here's where the psychology gets interesting, because this isn't just a nutrition story. This is a story about a blind spot, about the gap between what you think a healthy diet looks like and what your brain is quietly registering. You've been trained by decades of marketing to read labels in a very specific way. Low fat, high protein, no sugar added, gluten-free, plant-based. Those phrases hit your eyes, and your brain files the product under good choice and moves on. The study is suggesting that filing system is broken, because ultra-processed doesn't mean unhealthy looking. Ultra-processed is a category about how the food was made, how many industrial steps, how many additives, how far it traveled from the thing it once was. And a shocking amount of the food marketed to health-conscious people lies squarely in that category. The meal replacement shake, the cauliflower crust pizza, the keto cookie, the plant-based chicken nugget, the flavored oat milk, the protein granola. If any of those are in your kitchen right now, and they probably are, you're the person this study is talking to. And if this is already rearranging the way you think about your fridge, subscribe. Because the gap between what we're told is healthy and what our brains actually need is something I keep coming back to here. Now let's talk about the part nobody saw coming. The researchers didn't just find that ultra-processed eaters had worse cognition on average. They found the effect held even when the rest of the diet was healthy, meaning the salad doesn't cancel the snack, the salmon doesn't rescue the shake. You can't out-vegetable a bag of protein chips. That's a big deal, because most of us have been operating on a balance sheet model of eating. A little bit bad, a little bit good, it all evens out. Your body, sure, maybe that math works for weight or cholesterol, but your attention, your processing speed, those seem to be tracking something different, something more like total exposure than net balance. Think about what that means for the way you actually live. The morning coffee with the flavored creamer, the lunch wrap from the place with the green logo, the afternoon energy drink, the evening clean frozen meal because you're too tired to cook. Each one of those on its own feels fine, defensible, even smart. Stack them across a week, a month, a decade, and the study is saying your brain is keeping a running tab, and the tab is coming due in the form of foggier focus and slower thinking. Why would this be? The researchers didn't pin down a single mechanism, but the suspects are familiar. Ultra-processed foods tend to spike blood sugar in ways whole foods don't. They tend to carry emulsifiers and additives that may affect the gut, and your gut talks to your brain constantly. They tend to be low in the fiber and micronutrients that actually keep neurons happy, and they tend to be engineered to bypass the fullness signals your brain uses to regulate intake, which means you eat more of them without realizing it. Your brain, in other words, is being asked to run on fuel it didn't evolve to use in quantities it didn't evolve to handle, while being deprived of the inputs it actually wants. And here's the unsettling part. You don't feel it happening. That's the whole reason this study matters. Nobody is walking around going, wow, my attention is 6% worse today because of the protein bar. The decline is quiet. It's the email you read 3 times, the name you can't pull up, the conversation you zoned out of, the decision you put off because thinking about it feels heavy. You blame your sleep, you blame your phone, you blame your age, you blame your job. You probably don't blame the granola, but the granola might be in on it. This is why I find this study so quietly devastating. It's not loud. It's not telling you that one specific food will give you a disease. It's telling you that a whole category of food, a category that has slowly taken over the modern diet, may be skimming a little off the top of your mental performance every single day. And because the loss is invisible, you adjust to it. You think this foggy, distracted version of you is just who you are. What if it isn't? What if a meaningful chunk of the attention you've been losing isn't about willpower or screens or stress, but about what you're eating? That's the door this research opens. And it's a door worth walking through because the fix isn't dramatic. The researchers aren't telling you to live on raw kale. They're pointing at a specific category, ultra-processed foods, and saying the more of these you eat, the worse your brain seems to perform, even if everything else looks great on paper. The implication is simple. Shift the ratio, cook a little more, reach for the thing that looks like the thing it came from. Treat the shiny packaged stuff like the sometimes food it was always meant to be. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be aware, because awareness is the part the marketing has been working over time to strip from you. The whole business model of ultra-processed food depends on you not noticing it as a category. It depends on you sorting individual products into good and bad, healthy and unhealthy, instead of seeing the pattern. The moment you start seeing the pattern, the spell breaks a little, and once you see it in your own kitchen, you start seeing it everywhere. The airport, the office snack drawer, the hospital cafeteria, the school lunch, the gas station, the places we've quietly accepted as the backdrop of modern eating are mostly stocked with the exact stuff this study is flagging. That's not an accident. That's an environment. And environments shape brains. So the question this leaves you with isn't really about food. It's about attention. It's about whether the version of you that shows up to work, to your relationships, to your own thoughts, is operating at the level you actually want, or at some quietly dimmed level you've been told to accept as normal. Because if a study of 2,000 people is right, some of that dimming has a source, and the source is sitting on a shelf with a green leaf on the label, telling you it's good for you. Your brain is keeping score. The least you can do is start reading the same scoreboard. If this rewired something for you, hit like and subscribe. The next one's going to mess with you in the best way.